Welcome, everybody. Yes, it is another exciting section of our AOT 5.0 conversation. It's been an amazing rundown. I'm sure my co-host, Mr. Oluwatosin, would agree with me. Today's session is going to make it five. We've had five LinkedIn conversations so far where we've brought in experts to talk to us about our theme for this year's OET program, which is the creative economy and the digital Lagos. And we've been bringing to you several master classes across this topic. Across the team, we've had empowering startups and creative entrepreneurs for the digital Lagos era. We've also had empowering the future, building the digital foundations of a creative Lagos. We've also spoken to you about the creative passport, unlocking global market access and collaborations in digital Lagos. And we also spoken to you about digital inclusivity and how community-based initiatives are redefining the creative landscape. And it's been an amazing journey so far, just leading to the climax of the OT 5.0 that is scheduled to take place on the 7th and the 8th of December 2023. So if you haven't registered for AOT 5.0, make sure to check out our URL www.aot Lagos/register to register and secure your seats for the event. It's going to be massive. It is the largest tech gathering in Africa. And to get into today's today's discussion, we're going to be talking to you about the creative economy for sustainable development. We're going to be talking about the potential challenges and the way forward. And before we start, I'm going to be introducing you know him already, Mr. Oluwatosin, who is going to join me in introducing our guest speakers for today. Mr. Tosin, how's your experience been so far? You've been opportunity to be in all the conversation for this year's AOT. How has it been?
Oh, thank you very much, Antonia. Good evening, everyone. So this is Oluwatosin from Eco Innovation Center. I am the programs and learning manager for the organization. And so I'm so excited about this evening. This is the fifth conversation, just like Antonia has shared. We have had about 4 sessions in the last few weeks. And so we are so geared up about this year, Heart of Technology. We are looking forward to it. It's just some days to this time. And I'm so thankful for having this great panelist on this session today. I am so super excited. We have two females today and a male, and that's a very great one. Anyway, I'm feeling somehow because we should have just been three male too. But then this shows that something is actually speaking, and what is speaking is the fact that there is gender balance, and even in the creative industry, we can see that even the female they are really doing well now. We have a lot of them doing so well, and so this is a session I'm so impressed about. I'm so super excited about this session. And for today's session, the topic is a very wonderful one. We are looking at the challenges in the creative economy and also seeing how to chart a way forward on what can we do to actually make this industry a strong and better one. It has been predicted that the creative industry is one of the top industry that can actually generate revenue as we are looking forward to it. And I'm so glad to see great panelists on this session with strong profile. And so I'm going to start with Adedoyin. It's so nice to start with female. Anyway, Mr. Uzu, do you think we should bring a male? Maybe we should just look for anybody just to join us. What do you think? I know my audience. I know we have male audience, so they are looking at us, and that's a very great one. So for Adedoyin is a seasoned tech enthusiast with over 3 years of hands-on experience in industry. She's driven by an unwavering commitment to excellence. Her leadership style is rooted in collaboration, empowering her team to collectively drive success. She's on a perpetual quest to enhance her professional competencies, ensuring she brings the highest value to any endeavor. Adedoyin Sola is driven by a vision of contributing to an innovative and result-oriented work environment. Her aim is not only to excel, but to provide impactful solutions that fuel growth and development. She aspires to be a catalyst for positive change, bridging the gap between technology and real-world problems. Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you Adedoyin Sola, an entrepreneur at heart who releases the challenge of building, networking, nurturing lasting relationships. Currently, regional director at Upcommand. So Adedoyin, that's so great. I'm so
Thank
wow.
you.
That's very, very great profile. And so I love when I
Thank
read
you.
profile when people say they're entrepreneurs. All of us must make this money. We must make this country great. That's fine. And so
Thank
very quickly,
you.
I'm going to Mr. Uzu Samuel. Uzu Samuel is a communications professional with 10 years experience in corporate communications, public relations, storytelling, journalism, and communications management. Coach for aspiring TEDx speaker, is licensed by Dale Carnegie Institute to train professionals in the art of public speaking and storytelling, an award-winning Toastmasters and TEDx curator. He coaches professionals who dreams to deliver their first TEDx talk and position them for global stages. He's a member of the Abraham Lincoln Independent Speakers Network. Wow. I'm even saying wow. So I love this profile I'm reading this evening. I'm so impressed. Through his training,
Yeah,
media features,
fantastic.
speaking engagement, and mentorship programs, Izo has been able to inspire thousands of people across the globe to believe that they are more through storytelling and leveraging digital tech. Since joining the investigative team of Al Jazeera, he has significantly contributed to the research department, internal and external communications, producing quality and secret reports, and profiling for stakeholders. He believes that discipline is more valuable than talent. He's currently East Regional Media Coordinator at Jazeera, Media Network, and Communications Consultant, first class trainers. So that's it for Mr. Ozu. Come on, give him. I'm so super wowed. Wow. But then I love the arrangement because I'm also going to end with a female, and this is a wonderful session this evening. You guys are, I think I want to connect so I can actually have a strong profile too. It seems people in the creative industry, you guys have a lot of profile. And so lastly, I'm going to Victory Chinakwe, if I'm right. Am I right by the
You have
pronunciation? Thank you, Chinakwe. Is a digital marketing strategist, a public speaker, content writer, startup advisor, and website developer. In 2017, she joined the Google Digital Skills for Africa training program as a digital skills facilitator, helping businesses understand why digital skills matter and how to use digital tools for productivity. She has trained over 3,000 individuals, which include business owners and students. She helps individuals, businesses grow through digital marketing and innovative growth ideas. Aside being a digital marketing strategist, she currently works as marketing team lead, our digital and web developer and website manager. So it be botanicals. Am I right? Oh,
yes,
wow. So that's so great. So it's so
it
nice to have every one of you on this panel. And I'm so super trusting that even our audience from everywhere across the globe are also excited to have this evening conversation. Just like I said, this is the fifth conversation. And we are so excited because AOT is just here. AOT
Yeah.
is one of the largest tech ecosystem gathering in Africa. And so we are super excited about the lineup of all of the panelists we have been having for the conversation session and even for the event itself. It's a moment for us to redesign the creative economy to see what it holds as we are looking at the 2030, which is the year of the SDG fulfillment. And so it's a great one. So Antonia, I am giving the floor to you. So it won't be like the male has been talking so much, but expect that we talk too much today because we are just too male. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right. I didn't know we're in a secret battle, Mr. Tosin. But like you said, our guest panelists for today, they have fantastic profile, and it's such an honor to have them with us today. So before we start, um, we're going to be giving like a quick rundown of what we're going to be talking about today. Once more, our topic is the creative economy for sustainable development, the potentials, the challenges, and then the way forward. So in today's dynamic global landscape, the creative economy stands as a beacon of promise, offering potential to drive sustainable development on a grand scale. The creative economy is projected to reach a global valuation of 985 billion by 2023. And we're going to go into today's, because we're so conscious about time, we're already 10 minutes into today's slot. We're going to be going into our panel session directly, and I'm going to be starting with the man in the house. All right, so we kind of balance the whole gender. Mr. Uzo, how can the media, especially your role at Al Jazeera, contribute to sustainable development in the creative economy? And what strategies would you recommend? Thank you. I'm going to be posting the questions on the group chat so you can always reference to them when answering. Thank you.
All right, so thank you so much. I'd like to confirm if you can hear my voice. Let me know if you can hear my voice.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I'd like to say a very good evening to you, no matter where you're joining in from. My name again is Izu Samuel, and the first question asked here is one that resonates with me for the years I've been in the industry of communications. But I'd like to compellingly answer this question by also appreciating the team for having me on this call. I don't take it for granted, and for the privilege of having to speak alongside the fantastic speakers on today's panel. Thank you so much. And the gentleman who also introduced us, thank you so much, sir. And thank you, Antonia, for the opportunity. Now, when it comes to the creative industry is one of those pivotal dimensions that has come not just to empower Africa and to build a rapid collaboration between Africa and the rest of the world, but it is something that has come to have a stake with humanity, a stake with different cultures and different institutions. So if you ask me the role of the media to contribute to the sustainable development of this, the first thing I would say to you would be very simple. There can't be an effective and a competitive creative industry and a creative economy when the media is lacking. The media is what announces the importance of the creative industry. And by the media has over 72 dimensions, but today I'm going to focus my contribution on the concept, the theory, and the science of storytelling. There is nothing about the creative industry that would ever make a meaning beyond the walls of a given nation or region without effective communications of the impact recorded by these industries. And the economy is directly connected to the impact of the industry. So you cannot separate the industry and now want to launch onto the economy. The reason we have most limitations with most people, creatives, especially in Africa, is that we have lots of powerful, intelligent, pragmatic creatives who do not have the capacity to utilize the media to the effective point that it can, create bountiful results for their individual industry. So the media is not being used effectively. If you ask me, I would give it, on the basis of my research, I would give it 11.19%. That the creative industry, focusing my concerns and my ratios on Africa, we are not using the media enough because the media has the power to push services and products and creatives beyond a certain region. So the impact of it is enormous. If I'm going to be answering that question, is really enormous. When you tell stories, what happens to a given product or creative idea or a certain problem that is being solved, it positions you as a creative, as a solution-based person who can be trusted. So in the angle of storytelling, we see that in the angle of communications, we see that storytelling is one of those tools that has to be used to effectively contribute to the sustainable development of every form of creative sense, economy, and the industry that relates to the African region. So for anyone who may be listening to me now, what are the strategies I would share? I'm going to just share one or two of strategies that have worked for me and has been working for us in the industry where I am found. The first is going to be rooted around the concept of storytelling, And this concept has to do with the consistency of having to talk about the problems, the pain points, the concerns of the marketplace as it relates to the people that should be patronizing these products and these services. And the creative space is lacking in terms of this connectivity because most of this creative lack the ability to tell stories. So if you are a creative here and you're going to be seeing this video later on, now you on the call, I would give you the first strategy, which is to develop yourself in the area of being able to tell your stories, because the creative market rises and falls on the concept and the necessity and the force of storytelling. And the second thing that I would say concerning the media is what is called intelligent communications. To be on the media is a different thing. And to be able to communicate intelligently is also a different thing. I've seen a lot of creative out there who are not effectively marketing themselves, because marketing is not just all about the results you produce. Marketing is about your ability to be able to communicate the results that you produce. So as a creative person out there, you need to learn how to be intelligent in terms of being able to communicate your successes and even your failures. And the final strategy I'm going to share with you is a strategy I call passion-oriented mannerism. Passion-oriented mannerism. I realized that some creatives are very surface. They are very surface. They are just all about, I'm techie. I know this about the tech. I know this about this angle of creativity, of videography, of this and all of those things. But that ability to be able to have a touch and a connection to other angles is lacking with most creatives. And this is why we see many creatives who are not exploring the massive marketplace of the creative economy. So I would say that no matter what field you belong to, you need to ensure that you are someone that can be considered to be passionate. And by passion, I mean you need to be able to be brilliant enough to know something about almost everything that has to do with the creative world. The creative world and the creative marketplace is too big. So do not just fixate your ideas around one particular thing. It's okay to know something, but it's even more brilliant to know something about many things. So those three strategies would be what I would share concerning the space of the media. The media is too large. Tell effective stories, communicate intelligently, and be brilliantly passionate about not just your niche, but building a nexus between many other niches connected to what you are about. Let me know if if what I said was very clear. Please let me know.
Yes, we're hearing you clearly. And thank you for that intelligent insights that you just shared. And one of the things I deduced from what you shared with us is you have you have to put in the work, right? You have to go extra mile. You give us some strategies, the concept of storytelling. We must know how to communicate effectively. In other words, our audience must be able to understand what the message we're trying to convey. It's not just about entertainment. It is a means to an end. And thank you so much, Mr. Uzu, for that insight. Bringing me to Ade Sola, how can technology and innovation as promoted by Upcomer overcome barriers in the creative economy's growth?
Hey, thank you very much, and thank you for having me here. It's really a great pleasure. Please, hope you can hear me before I proceed.
Yes.
All right. So, how can technology and innovation, as promoted by Upcomer, overcome barriers in the creative economy's growth? So, apparently, I feel like one of the most frustrating barriers, right, to creativity, first of all, is for me, I would say, like, first of all, is unclear direction. Because if you say, like, without a starting point, or let me say, like, a finish line, so like energy could be spent in imagining, okay, new concept and all of that, instead of that energy being applied to figuring out like those mundane details and stuff like that. So, and also another barrier that I feel, another barrier or a challenge that I would say that we have like in this creative economy is also fear of failure, because so many people are like very, very afraid to like fail. And that fear of failure can actually inhibit, it can like have risk taking, experimentation, having to collect feedback and stuff like that. Because I feel like many people are actually afraid of making mistakes, being criticized, or maybe they're wasting time and resources on unsuccessful ideas like that. And in this challenge that we have, I feel like for those persons to like overcome this challenge, first of all, we need to like create a kind of a safe space and like a very supportive environment where failure is seen like is not seen as a flaw but rather like a learning opportunity, and also having to adapt the or adopt rather the growth mindset, which means, oh, you have to believe in what you can do, your abilities, your skills, and and all of that. So now coming down to how Upcomer, because first for technology and innovation, as promoted by Upcomer, platforms like Upcomer, we actually like kind of play a very important role in trying to see how these barriers in the creative economy's growth can how they can actually like be overcome. And before I actually go on to saying or giving like certain ways they can be overcome, there are other barriers that many people face in like this creative economy. Not the lack of resources is also another thing. Then trying to adapt to the situation, when it comes to the leadership and the management barriers, and also another one that's kind of really, really connects with what we do at Upcomer is what I'll call access and visibility for emerging talent in the creative industry. So now having to overcome these barriers, there are lots more, but having to overcome most of these barriers, I feel like providing what's it called, access to diverse sources of informations and inspirations and stuff, because we are Upcomer, we actually strengthen our impact by offering quite a number of informations and inspirations to the emerging talent community, like through the platform where artists and creative minds can like collaborate, where they can like tap into diverse pools of resources, ideas, influences. Because one thing we also do is try to source for um opportunities for this emerging talent, for them to like get discovered and not just feel left out. Then this rich approach, right, of creativity, kind of like it serves at, that's what I'm talking about, what Upcomer stands for. Like it serves as a kind of very big opportunity for innovation. And it also allows like these individuals to draw like their inspiration from, different cultures, different styles, because we have in the community, we have like quite a lot of talents and creatives that like do different kind of things, right? And also different perspectives. Each person can like, okay, this person, when you see people's piece and art and creativity and stuff, you can like, okay, draw inspiration from this person, or this person is doing this, I can also like try to do something like that. So basically Upcomer, like, just we ensure that everyone, regardless of maybe their background or where you're coming from or whatever, once you're in Upcomer, you have that opportunity to like explore, to learn, and also like to contribute to the global creative economy, because no matter where you come from, that's what. So another way I feel like these barriers can like be overcome is, when we enable collaboration and feedback. And this is very I would say is really, really crucial, because Upcomer like kind of makes it easy, because or part of the mission is like making it easy for, the creative people to, work together, like I said before, share their thoughts, because it's like a very big online playground. Let me put it that way. It's like a big online playground where, artists and creators and, poets and stuff like that, basically the creatives in the entertainment industry, where they can like, team up, mentor, give each other advice and all of that. Then this, when we allow this teamwork and when we receive this feedback, it helps all comers to like help everyone to like improve and make better things together in the space. And I think I would also say, by supporting like, when you say testing, when you say experimentation, I'm trying as much as possible not to use any tech tech related words, because for people that would not really understand, so I'm trying to like try as much as possible to break it down into like simpler words. Yeah, so like by supporting, experimentation, testings, and kind of like prototypings and stuff, so we try to like encourage these creatives. And when I mention creatives under upcomer, it's not streamlined to just artists, emerging artists, because when we say talent, we have like, we give the floor and the space for, the musicians, the producers, the DJs, and the likes like that. So well, we try to like encourage trying out new things and testing new ideas. It's like I said, it's a safe space for you to like just play around, just do your thing, because the Mavens, or like, let me say Rema or whatever, they didn't start in a day, right? Like they had a process. They tried out things and tried to see like what works for them. So like just try around and see what works for you. And by supporting like this experimenting and trying out new stuff, we help those creative folks to like find cool and exciting ways to express themselves without like being left out. So lastly,
Fantastic.
yeah, so lastly, I think this one is I would not be making, I don't think I'll be making any points if I don't like mention, when we try to reward and recognize these creatives, like recognizing their achievements, recognizing what they do, trying to, give them a pat on the back and let them know that, you are going somewhere, you are doing very well. So we give like those big thumbs up to, those people that, they do really awesome things in the creative world. It's just like, oh, getting, I would say like getting a gold star for like doing something great, or a gold medal, that kind of thing, for like doing something really great. So like by rewarding and recognizing these achievements, so we cheer on these folks and show them that, oh, your hard work and talent really matters, like in the creative world, in the creative industry. Not everybody would go one direction. Many people try out many things because we all want to be creative, right? So we like let them know that your hard work is really being seen, your talent really matters and stuff. So not only that, because I would say like we really go like extra mile by not just cheering them on
Thank you,
for their good.
Adedoye. You have a
Yeah,
lot to say. We must
like
give
really,
accolades to
yeah,
upcomers. Such an amazing work you're
thank
doing. And
you.
if I leave you, you'd keep on telling us a lot of things, but fortunately, we have to work within the limits of time for today. But
Sure.
it's amazing. And thank you for that answer. Again, we're actually talking about the creative economy for sustainable development and the potentials, the challenges, the potentials we've been seeing. And you spoke to us about some of the amazing things Upcomer is doing, giving recognition to these individuals, also establishing a reward systems. These are things that we can incorporate to kind of give a sustainable impact in the creative system, in our creative eco world. And going back to what Mr. Uzo said earlier on, he spoke to us about, and also Adedoyin, you also spoke to us when you're talking about some of the challenges, you spoke to us about some of the fears that these creative individuals have, fears of failure. Then you spoke to us about the vast potential, having no direction on, okay, where exactly, what's my niche, what do I want to do? And Uzo actually made a reference to that earlier on when he spoke to us about the media space being so vast and the need for every creative individual to be intentional. You have to be intentional in your communication. You have to be intentional with the context you are coming in. You have to be strategic. And then when he also spoke about the passion mannerism, talking about being enthusiastic, being driven about what you do, you must be the driver of your vision. And that would bring me to a question I want to ask to Victory. Victory, how can digital skills, because Adedoyin has given us a fantastic breakdown of what Upcomer is doing now. This is an organization helping these individuals, but you can't just leave it to chance and to organizations who are willing to help you. You must also be able, you must be willing to put in effort, right? So how can digital skills, because we're talking about the digital Lagos, how can digital skill training as a Google certified trainer foster inclusive growth in the creative economy? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Antonia Ayawo, and the entire team at AOT Lagos. My name is Victoria. I'll start with digital skills foster inclusive growth. I remember in 2020, when the COVID hits the globe, I believe everybody experienced the COVID-19. And at the time, several businesses and creative individuals, they became known, while some creatives, they were not known. Most people, they were confused on, okay, where should I go? How should I go? What should I do? In that time, quite a number of people gained the audience for their skills. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
We can
you
hear
clearly.
you.
We can.
All right. So digital skills foster inclusive growth by creating new ways of working through tech tools. I remember when we would do trainings through the Google Digital Skills for Africa, and some of the times when we went into this, we went for most of the trainings at Smithan and the rest of them. You figure out that a lot of people didn't know how to use as small as Google is, as small as Google is, as small as how to download an app. So we figured that this is not just for people who are government workers or people who are like, okay, I don't know these things. I'm not tech savvy, but it's also in the creative space. So we started to do trainings for them on how to use tech tools for productivity. Leveraging tech skills will help you stand out. So one of the things I would recommend, how can digital skills help you foster, right? So it will help you stand out as a business, as an individual, as a creative. So I figured I've worked with a couple of creatives. I would start with the UGC creators and the rest of them, the content creators. And I figured that most of them, they just know how to set their cameras, but they don't really know how to use these tools. That's the truth. I know it might sound funny. They just know how to set their cameras. They just know how to, okay, yes, let me just say what I have to say and move on. That's fine. But you also need to know how to use tech tools to be productive. It also help you work faster and better. So if you, whether you are in the creative space or you are a government worker listening to me, digital skills is going to help you create new ways of working. It's going to help you work better and faster. So it's not limited by anyone. It's not limited by anyone. So you, whether you're a male or a female, or you are old or you're young, you need digital skills. It's not gender bias, neither is it limited to a certain sector or skill set. I believe the Gen Z has made it look like, okay, the Gen Z generation, everybody's like Gen Z, Gen Z, Gen Z. Okay, so I'm the one that know how to use the phone, but no, that's not how it works. So whether, no matter where you are, well, if you're creative, you need to have digital knowledge. I like to call it digital education. When we did a training with NTA, I think that was around the first time I did my training in 2017. Quite a number of people were like excited about the training, because after the training, the things that they would normally do with, like, by writing down data on paper, they started to have a data collection system, right? So digital skills is like one way to stand out. Digital skills is needed first before any other thing. One of the reasons why some people are like, they always need a third party to grow as a creative is because they don't know how to express themselves, how to use these tools for themselves. So it's very important to have digital skills to foster inclusive growth by creating new ways of working. It helps to create new ways of working for you as a business person and as a creative. So instead of maybe working this other way around, you're working with digital technology tools to better your life. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Victory, for that point. You spoke about digital not digital education. I like that. I like the way you phrased it. The need for digital education, and it is true. And then you also told us that it's not gender biased. It's not for a specific set of people. So whatever direction, whatever generation you're from, whether you're a millennium, whether you're a Gen Z, digital skill is important, and we cannot overemphasize its importance, because for you to thrive, again, we're talking about the digital Lagos, for you to thrive, for you to become competitive in the world, which is actually they call it the global village, right? You have to be equipped with these tools. So you have to invest in yourself. And then I'll come back to Mr. Uzu. Mr. Uzu, you spoke about, so passionately, you spoke about the importance of storytelling. You also, in one of your strategies, you spoke to us about the importance of effective communication. So I'm going to be asking, as an expert in the field of as a communications consultant, what effective communication strategies? You already gave us this as a strategy. What effective communication strategy can address inequalities in the creative opportunities, especially in emerging economies? Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Please help me confirm you can hear my voice, please.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Right, thank you so much for that question. And I must also commend the responses from the two ladies. I mean, those were really fantastic responses, to be very honest. Now, just to respond to your question, a few weeks ago, I was having a conversation with some people. It was like a private training. And I said to them what I'm going to say here. Africa is one of those continents with an emerging economy. Believe me, if you are an African person, you are by default limited. If you are an African person, you are by default limited. It's not by muzzle, it's not by the loudness of the voice. You are by default limited. In fact, you need to walk 4 times, like, did I say 4 times? You need to walk like 7 times to be able to at least be considered to be a person that can be trusted with some strategic positions. So the inequality is real. The class is real. Now, this is my point. If you are a creative in Africa, for you to be respected, for you to be considered, and for you to be deployed, you need to understand the trajectory of effective communications. I see a lot of people that are very good with tech, these are sound creatives, but once they open their mouths to communicate their ideas, or once they want to write, there is always this disconnection between their intelligence in being creative and their abilities to be able to speak and talk about what they do. For instance, if you consider the Westerners, creative Westerners, they know how to communicate what they're doing. So the big advantage you're going to put on yourself as a creative person is to understand the 4 legs and the 4 pillars of effective communications. The strategy cannot be restricted, like, unless you want to be local. But if you want to be internationally recognized and globally recognized, you must be a person who truly knows how to effectively communicate your ideas, communicate your creative abilities to a certain audience for them to even deploy you, right? Now, I'll just share a few of the strategies with the people that would possibly see this video and the people online. But let me ask you, please, where is this video streaming? My team is asking me that.
It's streaming across all our social media platforms, so you can get it on our YouTube, our LinkedIn, Twitter Space. So it's streaming across all platforms.
Okay, all right. So let me just give this a few of the strategies that has worked for me in the past decade. The first thing you need to do and understand as a creative is that your assignment as a creative is not just to create things and solve basic problems. The idea is that you should be able to effectively communicate the problems you're solving. And that brings us the first strategy. Make communications relevant to every client of yours. Make communications relevant to every client of yours. Make communications relevant to every client of yours. So no matter the numerous clients you have, you need to ensure that your clients understand you from the angle of effective communications. Don't ever you be too ambiguous. Most people are very ambiguous. They don't even know how to break down the solutions they're bringing to the table. So it's as important to that extent. You need to learn how to break down your communications to the point that someone who is new can relate to what you're talking about. The second strategy that would help you is that you must be deliberate about developing your communication skills. Communications can be considered as the muscles. A few years ago, I started going to the gym, but beyond going to the gym, I had to get a coach because I needed someone that can monitor my progress. I needed someone that can help me to be disciplined through the process of developing my muscles. So such can be likened to the basics of effective communications. If you are a creative and you want to break loose out of the inequalities and out of the prejudice that African creative face and most of other regions face, you need to become so deliberate about becoming an intelligent communicator. And you can't just become an intelligent communicator. You need to develop it. And the processes of developing it has to do with submitting yourself for trainings, get yourself developed, become so willing and giving to mastering how to express yourself. Because when all things rises and falls, people want to be connected with people who have the capacity to be able to explain their ideas in clear terms and in reasonable ways. The third thing I'll share here because of time is you need to ensure that as you provide solution for your clients, master the technique called the psychology of feedback. Communications and problem-solving metrics is incomplete when there is no feedback. Feedback is the source, is the information, is the criteria, the bridge upon which we can define that there is completion. Completion is not recorded and observed when you are able to solve a problem and the person you provided those solutions to cannot come back to you with some feedback. Negative or positive feedback are very essential to your impact. And for instance, if you're working with a Canadian or you're working with a United States of American citizen, those guys, they appreciate feedback a lot. You need to learn how to position yourself as the person who is able to receive feedback. Feedback would help you to grow. Feedback would improve your abilities to understand. Feedback would build a level of nexus between yourself and your clients. And the final strategy I will share here is please be data driven. Don't ever say anything without data, and don't ever give a data without saying something. Data is very important. In line with effective communications, the justification of the impact and the clarity of what you're saying largely depends on your ability to be able to explain data to the points that people are able to understand and hold on to what you're saying. A very good example, during the political era, there was this certain politician, I will not mention his name, who was always remembered for something. You know what made him to stand out amongst many other people was the fact that he was always communicating verifiable data. If you are a creative here, never you show up to face the international community without having a lot of data. Without data, you are as good as someone with so much power, but lacks the ability to control the power that person possesses. And you know what it means. If you cannot control yourself, if you cannot control power, power would elude you and destroy you. So this is why I would like to say these parting words to creatives out there. Be so intentional to the point that people see you not just as a creative person, but people see you as a resourceful person. There is a thin line between being resourceful and being a creative. There are loads of creatives out there, but we just have a few resourceful people. And what will make you to be resourceful depends largely on your ability to be able to master the trajectory of effective, brilliant, and intelligent communications. Do everything within your powers to master how to speak. It's going to change your business. It's going to connect you to more clients. It's going to help you to be able to connect to the global space. For a good example, I am the only African moderator on a platform called the BWC, Breakfast with Champions. It's a community of the UK and the US and Canadians and the Thailands. The only thing that brought me into that space isn't just about the fact that I am a creative in the communications industry, but the fact that I understood the concept and the pillar of communications. It is irresistible. No matter who you are, no matter the color of your skin, no matter the color of your clothes, no matter whether you're short or you're tall, if you understand the power and the strategies of effective communications, you would always be accepted anywhere you go. My name is Izo Samuel, and I believe that everything rises and falls on intelligent communications. Over to you, moderator.
Thank you so much. That was so amazing. And a word that kept resonating throughout your discussion was the importance of intentionality, and which entails being deliberate in understanding effective, and you said intelligent, not just effective, but intelligent communication. And thank you for those four I would say key points you gave us, making communication relevant to every client. You also spoke about being deliberate about developing our communication skills, just as how Victory told us about the importance of developing our digital skill. Now you're telling us it's not just we have to balance it, right? We have to balance the skill. So you develop your digital skill, but most also as relevant, you develop your communication skill. And when you were speaking, that what came to my mind is how will they know if they are not told, right? So, and how will they know if you tell them and they don't understand what you're trying to convey to them? So it was really, really, really touching for me. And then you also spoke about this I think is the icebreaker for me. You spoke about mastering the act, the psychology of feedback. It just gave me a new viewpoint to feedbacks, the importance of accepting feedbacks. We don't just want to play too, right? We want to innovate, we want to transform. So we must understand the importance of feedback. And then you also spoke about data driven, and I enjoyed the catchphrase you gave: don't say anything without giving data, and don't give data without saying anything. Well, I really, really liked the important when you spoke about feedback, because I remembered Adedoyin Sola spoke also about feedback when she was giving us some challenges, when she was answering the question on how some organizations like Upcomer could foster these individuals. And before I go on, I noticed my co-host he's just been leaving me to talk, and he's been taking the notes. Mr. Tosin, so how has it been? I've been writing, my note sheet is full already. How has it been? How's the session been?
All right. So thank you so much, Antonia, for actually leading this session today. And I can actually tell you that this is a session that I'm actually blessed by the panelists that we have online. And from the three of them, I noticed there is a line that is connecting from each of their feedback. So while I was listening to Mr. Huzu mentioning about the data or something, Remember in one of our sessions, we actually emphasized data, because data is like, it actually help you to foresee what is to happen and actually help you to tell the story of this is where we are coming from, this is what we can do better. Okay, so if we can do this to get the creative industry very right, okay, this is one thing we can do. So coming today to hear that he's even emphasizing the importance of data is something that I really commend about this session. And you know one thing that also happens, it is the fact that if you are in the industry, like the way we are looking at it now, and you don't have that tech or digital skills, there is no way you can actually enjoy data. You can't it wouldn't resonate with you. You wouldn't flow. You can't. You don't know, you don't have the digital skills, you don't have the tech skills of actually learning to interpret data or using data to tell story, just like he has shared, or from what are they doing? So has shared from what they are doing at Upcomer about innovation and technology. So all of these things, you will see that we are in an era where progress in the creative industry looks like a system, like a laptop. When your screen is up and the keyboard is faulty, you might not be able to actually maximize your performance. The same way, if the screen is faulty and the keyboard is working, so all of these things are just interwoven. And I remember even in the data analytics, some of our trainings, do you remember there was this session that has to talk about a module that has to talk about storytelling, telling stories from data. So it means that the creative industry, just like we have been sharing, there is a line of connection. It's a very broad, it's a very broad industry, right? With different needs. And if all of these niche, all of these segments are not totally dealt with or connected, then we can't go there, we can't even go anywhere, because we're actually talking about the challenges and the way forward. So it's a very, very great session for me, and I'm super excited, and I want to trust that our audience online are also excited. And so because we just have some few minutes to actually close this session, for me, I would have loved that we should continue the session. So I just want to ask Adedoyin Solami, how can creative ventures expand globally while preserving cultural heritage, drawing from upcomers' experience? Do you want to share something? How can they expand globally?
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you. And okay, so right straight to it before Antonia will tell me again that, my time.
Yeah, just in 2 minutes, because we actually have just 8 minutes more.
Yeah,
So
all
with
right.
just 2 minutes. Yeah.
All right. So I'll just try to like summarize and just
All right.
what I want to say. So how can creative ventures like expand globally while preserving cultural heritage, drawing from upcomers' experience? So I would actually say that expanding creative projects worldwide, like while still keeping, cultural roots intact, is like, taking on both worlds. That's how it is to me, right? So creative ventures like, the music, the art, the fashion, the architecture, the poetry, and the likes of that can, spread globally by sharing their unique cultural flavors, and it's about basically celebrating what makes each culture globally, what makes it special. And platforms and initiatives can actually play like a very important role by promoting diversity and also by respecting traditions. For example, at Upcomer, with at least our little experiences that we're trying to like, do something innovative out there, we actually recognize the importance of different culture, like I already said earlier in the first question I answered, because it's like a global community where, because actually we have a community of like this emerging talent, right? So it's like a global community where these artists from diverse backgrounds showcase their talents. We have the ones that are not in Lagos, we have the ones that are in Abuja, we have the ones that are in Port Harcourt, and the rest like that. Even I think there are some from the north. So like it's just like a global community where these artists can like showcase what they have, their talent. And we have some of them that they produce their piece, like beats the beats, the this thing, like they produce it in their languages. Let's start from there. There are some that sing in if they're Yoruba, there are some that sing in like the Yoruba language, the Igbo and so on. We have some of them. So, and this creativity, like this, their pieces, their songs and stuff, like it comes out really, really nice. It comes out really nice. And by respecting and embracing these cultural differences, these creative projects like upcomer now can become like a bridge, because that's what we are, between the different parts of the world, letting everyone enjoy and appreciate the richness of like this global creativity. So yes, that's it.
I feel you saw
Right.
me smiling and you.
I know Adidoyin is so conscious of Antonia. I can see her looking at your face to say, "Oh, this lady will not come to tell me
Yes,
it's
so I don't want
enough."
to hear exactly.
So sorry about that. So sorry
That's
about that.
fine.
Yeah, so thank you for sharing that. And just to wrap it up, I want to ask Victory this question. And so we can just go because it's almost 6 p.m. and we don't want to waste the time. We are so time conscious. So based on your role at Our Digital, what innovative marketing strategies have successfully integrated creativity into sustainable development and genders, and how can they be adapted globally? Do you want to
All
check the
right.
chat box to see the question? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Antonia and Oluwa Tosi, right? Luko Obi. I don't
Okay,
know.
go ahead.
This session has been mind blowing. I would say that I've been listening to learn. Okay, so one of the things we do at our digital is that we develop and implement new ideas. I'll just talk from experience. I remember when, like every time, we normally have the stand up meetings where we bring up ideas. We talk to the entire team. Okay, what are we going to do? How are we? Another thing we also implement is data. Data helps you to make informed decisions. It's not just okay. We are so paramount on data. We love our data so much. So if we always think of making intentional changes to our company's services, we also take feedbacks very serious. Like we take it seriously. We want to hear from our clients. How well have we served you? One thing at Auditor is that we are not a static company. Auditor is a software as a service company. We don't just build, we create processes to generate long-term results. So one of the strategies we've implemented is to create processes that would generate long-term results, not just for us. When it comes to trying to go global, you have to have the global mindset. Number one, you have to have the global mindset. Like I said earlier, we also make informed decisions and we believe in collaboration and impact. Every time we are like, okay, we want to work with certain company. We recently developed Jazzy Burger. Shout out to our digital, the entire our digital team. I know they are streaming. All right. So through that process, we all came together to okay, how are we going to make impact in on this app? We're not just building an app, we're looking at sustainability. How can we keep this client? And I know if you know our Jazzy Burger is a global, at least for now, it's in Nigeria, but definitely it's going to be global. So we think of okay when it comes to marketing strategies we also filter our audience. We think of our target audience. Who are our people? Okay, who are people who needs our service? Because for us we're not just trying to okay get everybody. We have our people. Another strategy is just that my 3 L's I like to use: listen to learn. As a team, we love to listen to each other as much as we love to make contribution into the company. This can be like you can apply this globally. You need to listen to learn. You need to listen to implement. You need to listen to know and not to be known. I think yes, as a digital marketing strategist at our data, our main focus has been on our products. What kind of products are we giving out? What kind of services are we providing? to our customers? What are their experience? Our customer experience is something that we take seriously. So when our customers are coming to, like, we're having a meeting either globally or locally, we are all about how can we make impact, how can we collaborate, how can we partner. We are not, okay, let's build that app and we move on. No, we manage your app, we make impact in your company, we make impact in your branding. So I believe that everybody here would need the 3 L's: listen to learn, listen to implement, and listen to know and not to be known. I want to say a very big thank you to Antonia Ayanwu. I was trying to be very brief because I saw on the documents that I had just 10 minutes. I was like, okay, you have to be brief because I was trying to make sure that I'm not extending my time. All right, thank you so much, Oluwatosin Oloko Izu Samuel, if you're still here. Ade Doyin Solami. I'm so sorry, Ade. Yeah. I am so grateful to be here and to just listen to the entire team at AOT Lagos. I hope I'm correct. And the like to everybody that has joined us to listen. I believe everybody here and has received something today. I have also gained something because I was listening to learn and I was listening to implement while listening to know. Like, yeah.
The three
So
L's. The three
yeah.
L's. Thank you, Mr.
All
Tosin. I
right.
think Victory has signed off for us already.
Yes, she has. And I'm so impressed that she was able to finish the session while mentioning sustainability.
Yeah.
Sustainability is the call now. Whatever anybody is building, whatever you're doing, even from Mr. Uzu, whatever story you are telling that is not sustainable is not a story. So all of us we just have to think around sustainability. Thank you, Doing. It's so nice hearing the great things Upcomers is doing, and I'm so impressed. And thank you, Izu. Thank you, Victory. Thank you, Antonia, for hosting this session.
Thank you,
And to
Mr.
all our audience
Tosin.
all over the world, please do register for AOT 5.0.
AOT
The link is on the box.
5.0.
And it's just some days from now, by next week, Thursday and Friday, we'll be having this session, and we are so excited. Thank you for making this session so great to our panelists. We can't thank you enough. Thank you for being available. Thank you for your presence. We are so thankful. Until now, we want to say bye. Thank you, Antonia. Antonia, thank you so
Mr.
much. Thank you for being a
Tosin. It's
great
been
partner.
nice.
Yeah, it's so nice working
Thank
with you.
you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Uzu. Thank
Good
you.
night,
Yeah.
everybody. Thank
Thank you.
you.